Hello and welcome to the live coverage of the 2018 World Orienteering Championships from Riga in Latvia. I'm Catherine Betts and I'm joined by Ines Mertz all week, and we have today for you, we have the mixed sprint relay coming to you from Riga in Latvia. Well, it's the first time Capital City has been used to host the World Orienteering Championships, but today we move into more of a suburban area of the sprint relay. As we can see some of the teams lining up, then the numbers on their chest correspond to the place they finished at last year's World Championships, so we can see some of the favourites there getting ready to start. They've been introduced to the crowd here, but let's have a quick look at the course.
Yes, it's I would say it's quite different to yesterday. It's more in the suburbs and not really in the city as yesterday. But we see that the course setter, I think he tried to really split them up, the runners, on the different forkings. So if you have another forkings, you have different route choice possibilities, and you should really use them. Once on your forking, you often have two possibilities, but it doesn't really matter if you take the left or the right one there. They used to be quite about the same. It can be some differences in 2 or 3 seconds, but we will see that. And here we have the men's course with an extra loop. Otherwise, it's exactly the same course, well, with some forkings for both the men and the women, but we have this 16 and 17 control only for the men, and then we go back to the arena.
Yeah, there's an arena passage as well, and a little bit through the park to maybe allow the runners to get up to their full speed. But hopefully, well, we can see here just what it looks like out there.
That's very typical for this sprint. You have a lot of trees and you have a lot of green areas. There are open fields here, which you didn't have yesterday. And that's the route choice from the 4th to the 5th control. There's actually a forking on that control, so not everyone has control number 4. And here you should go to the right. But if you have the forking, which is a bit to another place there, number 4, then you should go around to the left there to the 5th control. So that's an example for this splitting up the course setter tried to use in this course.
But the forkings are mostly quite equal.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think we talked to one responsible person here, and he said that the course is it differs about 70 meters within all the forkings, which is not much at all. So they're about the same, the forkings, when it comes to distance, but of course you have to take different route choices.
Well, let's have a look at the start list, and the ones with the lowest numbers are certainly going to be the favourites for today's race. Defending champion Sweden, as well as European champions Switzerland. We've also got Denmark in there. We've got Great Britain, we've got the Czech Republic, we've got Norway.
Yeah, we had a small change in the Norwegian team. We had Sigrid Alexandersen. She had to jump off the team and is replaced by Silja Kröller-Jaren, who we see here in the picture with bib number 7.
Yep, number 6 is Great Britain, led off by Charlotte Ward. Number 5, it is Russia, led off by Rudnaya. 4, it's the Czech Republic, Jana Knapova taking them out there. 3rd, Elena Russ is leading. 2nd, the Danish team, Amanda Falk-Weber is taking it 1st, and with number 1, it is Tove Alexandersson of Sweden, who silver medalist from the sprint final yesterday. So she'll be looking to have a very good start and set the Swedish team up very nicely for that. course. So we've got 10 seconds to go until the start of the mixed sprint relay. They've got all their maps in their hands, looking ready. And they are off, and all teams, I think we've got 33 teams here today, all unfolding their maps, and they've got a very, very short while before they have to make their first decision of the race.
And it's that's also something I think the course had to try to do. It's a short way to the starting point, and you have to be very quick deciding which route choice you should take. And I think this one is actually really good, taken by those 3 runners. I think it's the shortest one, no matter which first control you have.
Yeah, I think they are really, really they are really, really similar, but we thought this one maybe slightly faster, but not much. Here there's actually an opportunity, as we can see the cameraman has done, to cut round the corner as well. We can also see...
But the cameraman has some inside information there.
Ah, yes.
And
so
here you...
Viola from Hungary as well.
Split up here, if you have the other forking, you would continue for some meters and then turn to the right.
So this is, we can see most of the runners have taken the route choice on to the right of the control, and they've got either A or B.
You see it on the picture, or you maybe not see it totally, but you have to decide very quickly if you want to go to the left because there's a fence. So you have to be very, very fast deciding.
Well, Alexanderson got there first, ahead of Eleanor Ross, who's leading up the group, but went to the right. But not all of them had that forking there. Some of them have gone a bit further west to the controls, so still difficult to see who exactly is leading. But certainly Alexanderson of Sweden getting to that control, and a couple of those in that group getting to the control before Eleanor Roos of Switzerland.
And this is the second control. It's a common control, so here we will see who is in the lead. And it looks as if it's Sweden, and that's not a big surprise.
No, not at all. And then we've also got Hungary there, Norway, Switzerland and Russia doing well. And then this is the group who had the other forking. We've got Australians there, Czech Republic, the Danes, the Brits, and then some of the ones already slipping further down the field. Only 1 team per nation at the World Championships, so you've got to selection is really crucial for these teams, and you've only got 1 chance to make it. But it is the silver medalist from yesterday who is leading out them and actually stretching the gap, I think, as well.
This again is a common control, and the next one is a forking. That's the one we have seen in the preview. It's from number 4 to number 5, so they will split up now. Two different forkings.
And I think those who have control 75 more north and east is slightly longer forking, I think, just because you have to go in and then back again, those who are going off to the far right of the picture.
Here we saw them splitting up and coming back here through this passage. And here we are at control number 5.
Yeah, this is the common control here. So after this forking again, they should probably approach us from different directions.
Yeah, exactly. Some of them will come from where we are looking now, and some of them are coming from the cameraman's back. I would expect them to do at least, depending on which forking they had.
Now we see the 2 favourites of the race, Sweden and Switzerland, at the control together. So I think Alexanderson had a slightly longer forking there. So that's interesting to know for the... Yeah, that'll be interesting to remember for the last leg runners as well. And there we have a much bigger group now going through the controls.
And now it's quite a long leg to the 6th control.
Yeah, they'll certainly split up.
It's a common control, but there's a route choice. One more to the left and one more to the right.
And we're running with Eleanor Ross, but she's actually, is that a gap or ahead of Alexanderson?
Yeah,
further back. Yep, you can see she's got number 1. So here they pretty much go the same route until this moment where they split up and go left or right. But both of them now seem to have gone to the left route choice.
And we tested that one. I don't think it matters really what you take.
Not
so
really. There's a
quite
couple of maybe the left one was a couple of seconds, but it's difficult for us to tell just pre-running beforehand.
I think it depends very much on what the first one is doing. I expect everyone to go to the left now after we have seen that the first one is going to the left. Yeah.
But Eleanor Ross managing to take some meters ahead of Alexanderson of Sweden, just in coming out of that control on the long leg over to control number 6. And here is the first point where you'll see just to the west of control number 6, there's a big fence. It might initially look like you could run down there, but it's not possible. But everybody here on our GPS tracking seems to not have any problems.
Actually, I expected them to go more to the left now to avoid to move to the left or right now by the house here. If you where Denmark is at the moment, you could turn to the left and then you wouldn't have to go as Denmark is doing now. I think that's the best one if you go down there. So I expect Denmark to catch some seconds on this route choice.
And this is the top 2 runners, and Alexanderson now just running faster. Sviet Kroliarin, I think, caught up some seconds there just on that small route choice. Also got the Austrian team, Ursula Kadan, took 12th place yesterday, looking good. So too the Danish team with Amanda Falk-Weber on the first leg, caught up maybe a few places just at that point, but still only a few seconds splitting them up.
And now we go out to the arena passage, and after that we have 2 control in this park. There shouldn't be any problems at all on these 2 controls. I think it's mostly, of course, to have an arena passage, but also to let the runners push really hard and maybe get them a bit tired, especially the ones a little bit behind the leaders. So it's after that it would be harder for them to refocus, and it's very easy to go over the threshold there. So you're a bit. You're too tired in your head to read the map carefully and maybe not able to focus on your forking. And I think that's the idea, the course setter, why he puts 2 controls in this easy park.
But of course the athletes won't know that there isn't any forking.
No, they don't know it. No,
there's no forking.
I mean, there's not really a reason why you should have a forking here in this park area. The visibility is very good. You just need to have direction, and there's no obstacle in your way, so you can just run straight ahead. So there's not really a reason why you should have a forking here.
Well, at this point, it's just a case of following Alexanderson, sneaking a look at some of the controls later on the course.
And that's a bit what I meant before. I mean, everyone has to follow the speed of Alexanderson now, and she takes the opportunity to push very hard. And I think the runners behind, they start to be a little bit tired now. We have been running for, let's say, 7 minutes. And it's now after like 5, 7, 8 minutes when they start to get the feeling of tiredness in the legs.
Yeah, and this is when the strength will show, is in the latter part of the course.
I think it will be even a little bit later. After 10 minutes, the big differences and the physical differences, they really pay off for the good runners. Because I think 10 minutes almost everyone can go in a very, very high speed, but it's a difference to go 10 minutes or 15 minutes in that speed.
Yeah, and again here we'll have some forkings in this section. So that's the Austrian team there making in the top 4. Czech Republic a bit further back. And they...
So now they have a double forking. They have 2 controls in a row, which isn't common, or aren't common.
And they will cross over each other halfway around as well.
And again, they should split up on different route choices here, yes.
Yeah, and we can see some of them going a little bit higher above the building, and some of them will go here, and then they've got to just run along these tapes and then take a left there. It's by some low walls too. But we'll see them back together again. I think this is control 81, it's control 13. After they've split up and then going back to the same control. And first around the corner, it is Alexanderson of Sweden, and
see
nobody
that the gap
else
increases here. And there we had Switzerland in the back, but now it starts to be a gap here.
This is where Alexanderson is really making a big gap, and the seconds are growing.
And again, here you have a forking, so if you have the left one, you should go around the left way of the house, but there's also, as Ursula Kaden is doing, you have to go to the right one if you have the other forking.
And Silja Kroljaran was in third place, but dropped behind a bit there. Danish team also looking good, as well as the Russians and the Czechs. The Hungary, I think that's Veronik Weiler on the first leg for Hungary, also looking pretty good.
And then we have a route choice, 14-15. 15th control is on the east side of this fence, so there's a little trap, but I don't think it's quite obvious already in printing. They try to not make it gambled there. And I think the fastest we tested it should be the route choice to Alexanderson is taking.
Yeah.
Out, at least from G, forking G there, you definitely have to go to the left.
Yeah, that's quicker, and you also, if you go to the right, you lose a little bit of height. Have to gain it again.
Alexanderson going into the trap there. Yes, I think so.
Yes, I think she is. So this looks like a mistake
Slowing
from Alexanderson.
down maybe a little bit now.
I don't think she spotted it yet.
No. So now we will see if she will notice it soon. And we see that Switzerland is doing, and Austria as well. They're doing the right decision
Norway
there.
And the Czech Republic as well. Denmark, Amanda
now
Falkweber, only
she
wants to go
noticed
there.
her mistake, so she's back again. But she lost all her lead there.
Yep. So the lead of Sweden being lost by a mistake from Alexanderson, and we'll see them all coming now. In fact, yep, she's now in third place, but fighting hard to gain the lead, as Elena Ross is the first to make it to our control number 85's control number 15 on the women's. Silja Kroljaran has scored. Now we can see after nearly 12 minutes of running.
We're at the moment where the have a shortcut compared to the men's race.
Danish team, we need to remember, 4-time sprint champion in a row is going to be on the last leg, so we need to see how close they are into the leaders.
This is the replay, and we see that the gap there was maybe 20 seconds, and she lost all of it to Switzerland. And what's Austria doing?
That's why
they did the same mistake.
Whoa! What?
Okay, that's a big mistake.
Wow. That is. Yeah, okay.
That was a big mistake.
Yeah, Ursula Kadan losing a lot of time, was up in third place.
4 different route choices, and that's the kind of trap you talked about, but I don't think anyone is running in there. And we see that it was about the same again, the 2 route choices.
Yeah. But Alexanderson again managing to just go ahead of Switzerland at this point. And then I think this end of the course is actually really interesting and challenging. There's a lot of controls very, very close together, and it's making sure you're not losing the seconds on any hesitations.
Yep.
I'll just go around here and the control. Then again, there's a left-right route choice. Alexanderson not quite as smooth through the control.
I mean, before in the course you always had...
I think she makes the better choice to go right.
Yeah. Before in the course you always had quite a good rhythm. We had 1 or 2 short controls, and then you had a long one again, so you had time again to prepare for the next one. And this here, for the first time, you have 3 or 4 controls in a row, very, very short controls, but it's very close to the finish here. And we see that it was a better choice of Alexanderson, so she was not very much different, but maybe a second.
Maybe a second, but that'll still be a second lead that she will be able to give to Emil Svensk, who's going to take the second leg for Sweden. We're going to see Elena Ross hand over to Florian Hovald. And so Sweden first, Switzerland second, Norway, the bronze medalist from the European Championships, in third. So we're looking for
very good
Emil
race by
Svensk.
Silja Kroljaran here, who came in as a reserve for Sigrid Alexanderson.
So Emil Svensk is the first to head out onto the second leg. We have for Florian Howell to take it out for Switzerland. For Norway, it is Øystein Kval Østerbø. We also have Hungary, Ukraine, Russia, and Czech Republic in there as well. The Renaya needs to get out of the way, I think. Estonia done pretty well into 8th place. Denmark, 24 seconds down, handing over to Tua Lassen. Second leg for the Danish team. They were second at the World Championships last year, but probably with a team not quite as full strength. Lithuania, Poland, Great Britain, 43 seconds down.
Finland there as well.
Yeah, Finn's got a very
and here we see the silver medalist from yesterday, Tim Robertson, heading out from New Zealand.
So we can now start to follow again the leaders on the second leg of the relay. And at the moment it's the same order as almost the same order as the European Championships at the moment. So this is the second control after they had the forking to number 1, just a bit of splitting up. There are a couple of directions they could approach this one. But it is Emil Svensk who is currently leading the pack.
And we see the teams behind there pushing really hard because they want to get in contact with the leaders. But it's hard to close a gap like that. You see that Andrej Kramov and the Hungarian team, they are really pushing hard to just get in touch with Øystein Kval Østerbø for Norway. Here we have Czech Republic, Milos Nikodem.
Also, I think it's Estonia and Ukraine and Tua Lassen.
Here we have Denmark. And now we'll have this forking again, so let's see if Switzerland and Sweden will split up. We know that Switzerland had a little bit shorter forking there on the first leg. So there's a chance for Team Sweden if... Oh no, I think the re-forking will be on the last leg then.
Yes, yeah. So the first, 5 through in 7 seconds, and then another 14-second gap to go to 6th in the team from the Czech Republic.
So here we see this forking we talked about.
And Sweden and Switzerland again having the different forkings there. Yes. With Sweden going slightly further.
Yeah, but now I think that Howell should have taken the route choice that Russia is taking. Mm-hmm. So he played away the advantage of the shorter forking there a little bit.
But the two of them still running together. Howell in the lead. Kramov, I think, has caught up to a few seconds there.
Yeah,
it's only 3 seconds behind now. Oh, there's somebody watching there, so they should be able to quickly
should put up the control again.
Oh,
maybe the cameraman.
Yeah, there we go.
It sounded to be painful there.
I think Tua Lassen's catching up a little bit for the Danish team there. Yeah, it was the Czech Republic in 6th beforehand, and Ukraine dropping a little bit further back.
Replay. Maybe get some sound as well. No. And it's falling.
But back with the two leaders, and it's interesting to note that none of the men running on the Swiss team in the individual sprints are on the team today. But we'll still follow the two of them running very, very closely, both still making their own route choices. But we're joined by Tove Alexanderson, who came through into the first place on the first leg. What did you make of the course, Tove?
Yeah, it was a lot of route choices, so it was a good course.
We saw you lost maybe about 20 seconds, or maybe 15, 20 seconds, I think, in the middle part. What can you remember? Can you remember anything from that point?
Yeah, I did two quite big mistakes, so yeah, it was bad.
It was, but you still set out into you still sent the team off in the lead. What are you hoping they can do on the rest of the legs?
Yeah, we have a really strong team, so I hope they do good races. So yeah, they are so good, the rest of the team. So I'm looking forward to cheer for them.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, and wish your team good luck for the rest of the course. Okay, let's head back, and Svensk and Hovald now 10 seconds clear of the rest of them, as they will head through the arena passage at about halfway through the course. Emil Svensk leading ahead of Florian Hovald of Switzerland. Some of the chasers, I think, losing about 10 seconds. Chris Jones now in 9th place, caught up a few seconds for the British team. Also, good to note, Tim Robertson, silver medalist from yesterday. He's into 10th place from New Zealand. Well, we've got Hungary, we've got the Czech Republic. Miloš Nikodim there, he took 12th place. A strong men's team on the Czech Republic team, taking 11th and 12th yesterday. And now here is the opportunity to really stretch some of the distances and push the runners to their maximum running speed. Let's get them tired. Let's see if anyone's going to make mistakes. And that's what we saw for Alex Anderson. And she was not happy at all to have lost the time.
She wasn't very enthusiastic,
no.
At least, talking about her race.
Not at all. But there we see Svensk taking maybe a few seconds again out of Hovald just in the running section, with Norway and Russia neck and neck currently. A gap now to 4th place. As they head up their way to control number 10, and now Özdenkwal Österbø just taking a little section out of Kramov, but not quite as fast up those small stairs. This is really where you can see the differences between today's race and yesterday's race. The kind of wooded parts, the very
yeah, I think you had yesterday. You had a little bit less time. When you're executing your route, you always have to work on executing it well. And today, you can higher you head, look ahead in the terrain, and then you can fix. You can look like to a building and just run there, and you got a lot more time here.
So Norway and Russia split up despite having the same forking. I think Norway taken the slightly better route choice there, as both Sweden and Switzerland, they have the same forking. I think we've seen Chris Jones from Great Britain pulling a little bit again up through the rankings, but Denmark also there in contention in that chasing pack.
And now we see the same story as we saw in the first leg. Sweden opening a gap here to Switzerland, and Emil Svensk doing a really good race so far.
Yeah, he was 6th in the sprint final yesterday versus Hovald, who hasn't run yet in this competition.
And Russia is losing some time here.
With Chris Jones now pulling up into 5th spot.
So Chris Jones is doing a good race so far.
And Sweden and Switzerland again.
See now, I think that Sweden is taking the route choice, which is a little bit slower, but he will be followed by Switzerland. And I think that's a little bit a chance for Norway now. If he will continue and take the left route choice, I think he can win some seconds by doing that.
Yeah, I think so too.
And also Chris Jones for Great Britain.
Meanwhile, Kramov of Russia has H, but still takes the left-hand route choice. I think that one is less difference of the two forkings. But if you have the G, then we think it's much simpler to go left, go to the left route, as long as therefore you take the right fork. Don't make a mistake that Alexanderson did.
Makes sense, but where do we have Switzerland? Here.
So the gap.
And now we have
seconds.
We have an additional loop compared to the women's race, so they back out of the control again.
And Chris Jones keeps climbing places, now up to 4th, running closely with
fantastic race so far by Chris Jones.
And also, team of Czech Republic, Miloš Nikdim, they've got a very strong and quite even team, have the Czech Republic team. So they too looking good. We can see
and Denmark still
Ture
very interesting.
Lassen's catching up. When there was the changeover, I think he was 43 seconds behind the leaders. So Lassen having a good race for Denmark as well and catching up time, at least compared to Svensk. So this is where the routes differ slightly for the men's course, and again a chance to really stretch out. Everybody here pretty much going
actually
the same way.
Lassen, he was 24 seconds behind when he starting into this second leg, so he lost a little bit of time. But they have, they have Maya Alm on the last leg. There's still, we've seen it last year. She had a big gap when she was heading out on the last leg, and then she managed to get the medal anyway. So. Yeah.
Chris Jones catching up even more time now, catching up.
It just seems that Emil Svensk has a better speed than everyone else here, because he did some small mistakes, but every time he can open the gap again and push really hard on this physically legs. And we have Chris Jones here, another very strong runner. And I think he is doing he's the one doing the best race so far, I would say.
Yeah, he's caught up a lot of time and looking very strong. We know he had the speed from medal yesterday, but some mistakes, including visiting restaurants in the little passage.
Chris Jones, he started 43 seconds
behind. That's where I got 43 from. But Svensk certainly looking very strong.
Here again, you have quite an interesting route choice. What you shouldn't do is continue from control 17 to the north. That's slower for sure. But then from the point where Switzerland is now, you can go to the left if you have J, or you can go to the right if you have I. I think if you have I control, you also can go to the left or to the right. It doesn't really matter.
And then again, whether you have I or J will influence where you go to, possibly to 19.
From J, it's for sure better to go to the left. From I tested it. For me, it was 1 second difference, so it didn't really matter.
No, it's more about minimizing your mistakes and not getting distracted by other people running different forkings to you. And Norway, as they're choosing a slightly different route choice. But we can follow the leader, Emil Svensk of Sweden. Oh, just not quite sure at this point. And this is Chris Jones.
Chris Jones versus Switzerland.
And look, he just can have the confidence to cut the corner.
You see Chris Jones, he almost closed the whole gap of this 43 seconds. And here we have Switzerland as well, but he is losing time. So now we have only a few controls left.
Yes, go. And then, these controls, when you're really, really tired, you've been running to the max, and you've got these controls that are coming at you very, very quickly. It's easy to lose a little bit of time from hesitations, maybe make the wrong route choice. The two of them again are going to collide, not quite. And will head back, and now they've just got to go for the arena. Okay, so we've got the third leg runners are waiting. Jonas Jansson there for Sweden, as Emil Svensk maintains the lead for Sweden and has again a gap, but we have Great Britain in second place. So Jonas Jansson now waiting to head off on the third leg for Sweden. So great result for Emil Svensk for Sweden. Now Peter Hodgkinson about to hand out and make sure they get the right map. Chris Jones having a really great race to pull up into second spot, and a big gap still, which we'll see in third place. It's probably going to be Switzerland.
Yeah, it's a bit of a surprise. I mean, he didn't run yesterday. He should have some energy left, but he lost. He had to let the gap open every time again after Svensk doing some smaller mistakes, and yeah, there's a gap, 18 seconds, so that's not that easy to close again.
Should make a note of New Zealand in sixth place there, 39 seconds behind. We also have Russia in seventh, 40 seconds behind. We should keep an eye. Estonian team still going well. Denmark, we should keep an eye on them. They're in 53 seconds behind. So back out with the leaders, and it's Jonas Leandersson who had a high speed in the sprint final yesterday, but a few route choice errors cost him a significant number of seconds, and he was down into 19th overall. Disappointed with his run, so we'll be looking to go out with a vengeance, I think.
And I think here that Switzerland is taking a good route choice, so there's a small possibility to regain some seconds here. But we also know that at control number 4, Sweden has actually twice the advantage of the a little bit shorter controls left. If they can play it out well, I think that's a big possibility to open a gap, or to make it even bigger than it is at the moment.
Korean team being lapped.
There we have Switzerland coming. So I think this was a good choice to go to the left, Fabian Hebner. First time for him in the sprint relay team.
Yeah, such is the depth of the Swiss
team.
We
saw that Switzerland almost caught Great Britain there, and also a good start for Norway. Jarvis Vestergaard.
So those are the standings as the exchange from leg 2 to leg 3. Sweden with a 4-second lead over Great Britain. Switzerland 18 seconds behind, but that gap over Great Britain almost caught up now. Norway just 2 seconds behind that. Then 5th we have Czech Republic, 6th New Zealand, who definitely had their 2 strongest runners at the beginning. We also will look there for Denmark in 53rd. Finland leading up another group, with running similarly with Lithuania as well. But back to our GPS trackings, and we'll see just the different forkings. But I think Sweden and Switzerland will have the different forkings this time.
So now Leandersson should continue in the same direction, not back out again. I think that would have been faster, but he's doing the same as Hovald was doing on the last leg, on the leg before.
Just see the changeover for Latvia. Here in 19th place. They are, of course, the home nation, so host broadcasters will want to be looking at that. What is
yes. You have to go on this side.
I wonder if that's a mistake that Tova made, which is why Eleanor Ross was able to overtake her at that point, just out of that control. Not sure.
Possible.
Near collision there with, you can see Hodgkinson now 16 seconds down, so losing about 12 seconds just in this point. Fabian Hurton 19 seconds down, so still the same gap between Anderson and Hurton.
Cameraman. Maybe a bad position to stand there.
Wojciech Kral from the Czech Republic maintaining that 31-second gap that he had at the changeover into the third leg. But these are GPS trackings. Sweden with a good lead. Looks like Great Britain, Switzerland and Norway all running together. Oh no, not quite running together. Norway is the orange, but at least Switzerland and Great Britain running together.
Really nice graphics here. You see the runner on the map and also in the picture.
But now at least Switzerland and Fabian Hörtner deciding to go a different way, going to the left.
We can mention that the picture to the left is a little bit ahead, so the graphics to the right is behind, for everyone wondering.
Yes, our GPS tracking does have a slight delay on, so very soon we have a camera at control 6.
So
we'll be able to see Leandersson.
I think we saw there that Team Switzerland did the same again as they were doing on the first leg. I think they should have continued to the left, but they turned to the right, so they have to run a little bit an S-shaped route there.
Well, let's see who can make it out of the forest next. And that's Peter Hodkinson from Great Britain there, who's followed closely by Fabian Hörtner. So Hodkinson maintaining the second place.
And we have Team Switzerland. They lost 2 seconds from the changeover compared to Team Sweden.
Say Wojtek Kroll is going well. He's going the same speed as Leandersson, and I think catching some time off on Norway, as now they've got to go through this arena to the orienteering fans will cheer them on. They'll be able to reset their map, have a quick look, and of course they won't know that they've not got any forkings in this small section in the park. It's a very, very quick section. This is also where we've seen those with the best speed really make a difference. I think Kroll is going very well, catching up on Norway there. Håkon Vestergaard not quite having the same speed. But here is our leader.
But at that point, I think this park section is less important, because we have the fields spreading out quite a lot and they don't see each other that much again. So they have to go in their own speed. Of course, they see each other here, but it's not the same. You have not the same possibility to push the others behind you as you have on the first leg.
So both second and third place stealing a glimpse at the map. But in fifth, Wojtek Kroll, the Czech Republic, chasing, and we can see Kramov in the background. Looks like he's probably in sixth position there.
This is Artem Popov,
Russia. My bad. And we can also see Jakob Edson on running the third leg for the Danish team. And with my arm on the last leg, we always need to bear them in mind. I think that's Team Poland in number 14 looking good, and so too the Estonians, especially considering that we didn't get any Estonians qualify for the sprint final yesterday.
Now we are in this part with a lot of forkings, around 11, 12 and 14.
Now all the top teams, they all have F. And then the chasing group, Norway, Czech Republic, Russia, all have E.
So and you can see that the tail is 15 seconds.
So over a 15-second lead for Sweden and Jonas Leandersson at the moment. It's difficult to tell whether they've gone, which way they've gone, but... And we know the GPS is not always quite as accurate through the buildings, but looks like Britain holding on for the second place. But here we're back with our leader, and as they reach control number, I'm trying to tell you, number 13. Again, splitting up and going around the two ways, and then to 15 is where we have seen some interesting route choices and some mistakes being made.
So now we are following Leandersson on the way to the 14th control. I think it's control H he has there. Should be. Otherwise you should take the left route to control 14.
And now Switzerland and Great Britain, they have the two different ones, but we need to look at Norway and the Czech Republic, who I think are
you see that Great Britain is backing out again, so they have the control H and Switzerland G. And it feels that the Czech Republic and Norway, they're coming a bit closer there compared to Switzerland and also compared to Great Britain.
But both of them have got H and have gone the southern route around.
And it seems, I'm wondering if the graphics for Norway, yes, it was right. So he was actually following Switzerland to the wrong control. So, and that's a little bit what I talked about. That's if you start to be tired, it's easy to just follow the other runners, and that's the risk in this race.
But defending champions Sweden all the way, still holding on to the lead. And
actually, here I think that he should have backed again. The direction he came from. It's not a very big difference in the route choice, but maybe some seconds.
And Switzerland.
See what Heppner is doing. Doing the same. And I think you should run as Peter Hodgkinson is doing.
Wojciech Kral has managed to overtake Vestergaard, who made a little mistake in that forking control, followed the wrong person. So Kral moves the Czech Republic up into 4th spot. And here we can see the final leg, women warming up. Caroline Olsen looking concentrated, and she's got us a big gap.
I think it was better the way Peter Hodgkinson was running, back out and then all the way to the left as he's doing at the moment.
And we'll see the difference there with Great Britain and Switzerland.
He's definitely closer to Switzerland now,
yes.
Or he's already ahead of Switzerland, I would say, maybe. Be tight, they might come together to the control. But I would say they are closer now to, of course, this group there, Great Britain, Czech Republic, Norway and Russia. They will be a little bit closer to Sweden, and they are ahead of Switzerland, at least Great Britain now at that point.
Hodgkinson will get a good feedback when he will be able to tell he's got to that control faster. And then we can see, I think in the background, we can see the British team, and we can see, it looks like Wojciech Kral has overtaken Hertner who's dropped down into 4th spot. We've also got the Norwegian team there at the back in 5th. Peter Hodgkinson of Great Britain in 2nd, Wojciech Kral of the Czech Republic in 3rd, Kevin Hertner of Switzerland in 4th, and Vestergaard in 5th for Norway. We've also got...
But at the same time, we know also that they will have the last leg runners there for Great Britain and the Czech Republic. They will have to fight against Judith Rieder, and I think that will be a tough match. And that's what I talked about with the route choice.
And now we are back live.
See, the tail is now 20 seconds, so gap at least to Switzerland I think is increasing. You see that it's now Wojciech Kral pushing very hard there.
Very, very closely behind Peter Hodgkinson, with both of them going to control I. Norway and Russia both head to J, as did Sweden in the lead.
Switzerland is also control J. And we see that Norway might have picked some more seconds compared to Switzerland. Yeah, they're ahead now.
And now, different route choice being taken, but...
I'm wondering, I think that one actually is a little bit slower, the route choice Great Britain and Czech Republic took there.
It's easier to approach the control if you go from the north.
Yeah, it seems a little bit shorter when it comes to distance as well.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens when they
Norway and
catch up
Switzerland.
to control 19.
But my feeling is that this is longer.
That's fine.
They were doing, and I think they will all be almost together now again.
Yeah.
But we can say Leandersson is doing a really good race, and he will send out Caroline Olsson with quite a big gap.
Yep. Well, this is the final control. And Jonas Leandersson is now going to head to the final changeover of this
really
sprint
hard
relay.
here, you can see that.
Really, really fast. And defending champions, Caroline Olsson knows she now has a big job. She needs to...
Very eager, she's almost falling over the wall there.
So after 44, nearly a half minutes of running, Sweden, the defending champions, are still in the lead and seconds are growing. Let's see who's going to change over next. Now this is going to be interesting. I think there are lots of people will come in together, but the gap, well, it's a big one.
It was 4 seconds to Great Britain before. It was 18 when
18 to Switzerland.
Yeah, to Switzerland. 20 to Norway.
Norway and the Czech Republic head there first, and it's Switzerland, Great Britain, and Russia, and all 5 of them are neck and neck pretty much, and all of the runners.
For the medals here now.
Ooh, this is going to be interesting, I think, with all the runners really signalling over to make sure they get the correct map. So we have the Czech Republic, then we have Norway, then we have Switzerland, then we have Great Britain, then we have Russia. And all about 45 seconds to 51 seconds back. That is a big lead that Caroline Olsson now just has to maintain. Tove Alexandersson, despite a 15 to 20 second mistake at the beginning, in the middle of the race, she still maintains the lead.
We can also say that Russia, Artem Popov, did quite a good race on the third leg. He only lost 11 seconds compared to Jonas Leandersson.
Well, Artem Popov took a 9th position yesterday, so looking pretty good. We also need to look out for Denmark, handing over to 4-time sprint world champion. She's the only one, we think, to have taken 4 titles in a row. That's 4 of the same discipline. Yeah. Denmark are 144 back, and that's going to be...
It's tough work to go out together with Mayal now.
Yes.
And here we see, I mean, the gap is 20 seconds, a little bit more at control number 17, and it increases a lot here on this last controls.
But I think this was a slower route choice from the British and the Czech pairs, but now they just all follow each other the same routes in the last few controls. Yeah, there tends to not be any forking at the end of these courses, and all these athletes will know that and just know that, have a good picture of the controls in their head and really be able to try and hang on in the final stages of the race. We're at control number 2 now, looking both ways for our leaders. This is a recap of the standings at the changeover. 47-second lead for Sweden with the Czech Republic. Strong team who they got on last leg. They are 47 seconds. Czech Republic, the youngster Teresa Janisikova on the last leg, but Judith Vida has already
opened the gap here.
Galina Vinogradova running for Russia, Megan Carter-Davies there for the British team, but already the women have started to stretch out, with Judith Vida of Switzerland having a flying start. Norway, it is Angelina Benjaminsen on the final leg for the Norwegian team, dropping back. They were in 3rd place at the changeover.
It's very important for Switzerland, if they want to have a chance, that they can start to turn the numbers here and maybe come a little bit closer. They started out with 50 seconds behind, so it's 7 seconds. But it's, I mean, a small mistake is needed by Sweden to open up again the fight for Switzerland, Russia, Czech Republic, and Great Britain, and also Norway. Maybe, but a minute is quite a lot.
Yes. And Benjaminsen dropping.
We have Caroline Olsson, the same as we saw Leandersson doing.
Yep. Yeah, I think some people have had trouble just making sure you get the right route choice. If you've approached the control from the same direction, it's much easier to do the exit. And most.
It's when you're very well prepared for that, you can avoid it.
But this is where we see Switzerland having the longer forking.
A little bit longer forking, yeah. But the other ones, they are coming back on the same route choice as Vida is taking. So they play away their advantage a little bit.
Yeah, and we think the gap is So gap there about 44 seconds, and we should be able to see Jadwiga now. Yep, going through the passage 42. So climbing ever so slightly, a couple of seconds. That's all the gap. Galina Vinogradova messing around there, and you're able to put Megan Carter-Davies into third spot, being chased by Yana Sikova, the junior. It's her second World Championships, but we know she's done some great things in the sprint. Well, she took a 19th place. So top 20, still being a junior in the WOC sprint final. But it's all up to Caroline Olsen now to maintain the lead, keep a clear head, not make any mistakes, and keep the Swedish team running fast and, most importantly, ahead of anybody else.
Down there, yes. So she's now on the long route to control number 6.
Passing through these very small sections.
She chose to take the route choice to the right. Edith Wieder's taking one to the left. So let's see if there's a difference, or if Switzerland manages to come a little bit closer compared to Sweden.
So after 50 minutes of running, still Sweden in the lead, and Caroline Olsen's very distinctive loping style looking pretty good. Here we can see Denmark.
That's the leg replay. So they are synced. They started at the same time.
So this is, we can see how Maya Alm is running faster than Caroline Olsen. This is as if they were starting at the same time, but maybe the gap now 18 seconds she's running faster than the rest of them, but the gap is 1:44 though. But to the rest of the field, only a minute.
See that it's only 32 seconds now.
Yep.
We had 42 before, and now it's 32, so she is coming closer, but we are always almost halfway into this competition, and she caught 20 seconds. So it's still quite a good gap down to Switzerland.
But those runners will be battling for the bronze as well. Top 6 teams all still in contention.
Well, I mean, still there's the battle for the silver as well.
Yeah.
She's not in the finish yet. I mean, everything can happen. We saw that when Tove Alexandersson was doing the mistake on her course, going into the course setter's trap.
Galina Vinogradova, experienced runner, she's got a bronze in the sprint WOC in both 2015 and 2017. 10th place this time, but her sprint credentials are doing her well at the moment. And this is how we can see them going through the couple of controls in the park, where they can really show their running speed. And Judith Vida has been preparing for this as by far her most important race, competition of the year, despite having a home European Championships. You just see them taking slightly different lines here, and Megan Carter-Davies getting some encouragement from Hector Haynes there, but just keeping cool and keeping pushing.
Another second, but we see that the running speed is quite the same, Caroline Olsen compared to Judith Wider, so I think still there is some kind of mistake needed to allow Switzerland to come in contact to Sweden.
But Maya Alm is catching, and I think she's in 7th place there. But the thing is, she'll have now the runners ahead of her for her to focus on. And
but I don't think she will get into fight for the gold or the silver, but maybe the bronze.
Maybe the bronze. We will have to see what the gap is looking like. But certainly Russia now in a good 3rd place currently, as they go through some of the different forkings after the passage of the park. It's control 12 here for Caroline Olsen. She'll have no idea, of course, what's happening in the rest of the race behind her. But
She doesn't see a runner running out here from the control, but I don't think so.
this is our control 81, it's control 13 on the map. Haven't seen too many old women out watching. A few of them. Apparently, there's just lots of old women who live here who like sitting out in the green spaces, and now they've got the World Orienteering Championships running right past them.
It's very good. It looks as if she has very good control over the orienteering part. She knows where to go after the controls, well prepared when she comes there and punches it. And maybe she can see and get like a feeling over the gap now. I mean, she should have seen Judith Wiede there when she was heading around the corner.
They split up the different forkings. But I think we're now looking for the Russian Grado coming now.
Let's see which route choice Sweden is taking. I think she's taking the one that's a little bit slower. And at the same time, there's no risk for her to go on the wrong side of the fence when she's going around to the right.
I think Denmark now up in 5th position. Yes. I'm now up into 5th position, having been to the changeover. No, I don't know where she was at the changeover. Jana Sikova from the Czech Republic, fighting hard but being overtaken by.
She was in 7th position out in the changeover.
So pulled up a couple of places already, and now we can see Kara Olsen punch the control with
Here, and let's see the gap now.
It was 31.
31, yeah.
And then we can see if Judith Wiede's been able to close it anymore. Well, we can see the trail on the GPS tracking is 15 seconds. And the gap 24, so it's closing again, but
yeah, but I don't think it's. I think that's enough. I think it's. I mean, it's not. We don't have a lot of the course left. There's just this route choice to control number 17, and as far as she's not heading to the right when she comes out to the junction there and then into the trap, I think she's quite safe.
And Maya Alm bounce ahead into a bronze medal position, taking Denmark from 7th place and 1 minute 44 behind to only 52 seconds behind.
That's the moment when she passed Galina Vinogradova. So now she's on a medal position.
Yep.
Incredible.
But we're here back with our leader, Caroline Olsen of Sweden.
Yeah.
Only a few more controls now.
I think that looks very good for the Swedish team.
Very good.
There's just, after this control, there's just 2 controls left, and they shouldn't be a big problem. Maybe she's taking the route choice that's, let's say, 1 second slower, but I don't think it will cost her the victory here.
I don't think it will cost her, no. And I think Judith Wiede just got to make a few decisions, just quickly checking her map, but you can see the control on the way down.
I also think that Judith Wiede, she starts to get the feeling that, okay, I don't see her, I don't have a chance, so just get my own stuff together and don't play away the silver medal.
Yeah, exactly.
She's taking the same route choice here as Caroline Olsson. So it looks as if Sweden is defending their title. Yes, indeed.
And Caroline Olsen just checking over her shoulders, make sure nobody is coming after her. So the team of Tove Alexandersen, Emil Svensk, Jonas Lee Andersen and Caroline Olsen are able to run up the finish line together, all 4 of them together, to defend their title, jump over the line, and with a great start from Alexandersen to put them in the lead, even despite some mistakes. Then they maintain the lead all the way round. The other possibly equal favourites for the medal, Switzerland, with anchored by Judith Wiede, into the finish to take the silver medal. Eleanor Ross, Florian Hovald, Fabian Hertner and Judith Wieder. They can all have time to have a high five and again cross the line as a quartet to take a silver medal, one better than last time. And we're now going to have a look out for who can take the bronze. And the 4-time world champion has caught up almost an entire minute on the last leg to put Denmark into a bronze medal. That was nearly a minute faster than Caroline Olsen.
Yeah, that was a very impressive race by Maja. I mean, it seemed that she is just racing a running competition here. No insecurities at all. She was just following the track and taking position for position, and ended up in the 3rd spot. And
sprint finish for 5th place with Jana Sikova for the Czech Republic just has the edge against Vinogradova, and they take 5th and 6th. Norway, they had a bronze in the European Championships, and hopefully we're happy with a 4th place. They are seeming to cement an improvement, I think, in their sprint running for Norway. But you're looking at the silver medalists. Switzerland not able to quite defend their title at the Europeans.
Great Britain. It's a good result for the British team. I mean, they were there where we could expect them. I think the competition would have needed to go a little bit more their way to let them get a medal, because they're not there. I mean, they don't have 4 runners. They're really up there and can really go in, especially on the last leg. Let's take Maja. She's so strong physically, and if she comes and is beside Megan Carter-Davies, there's no chance for Davies to follow. So that's just it's not much needed, much more, but a little bit.
I don't know if...
Yeah, and she also did a mistake
goes down,
there.
So she made a mistake in the final stages because it was just behind the Czech Republic team.
Even without that mistake, she wouldn't have a chance to be in the fight for the medal.
Not quite. And then at that point, she knows she's dropped behind.
I really would like to highlight the presentation of Chris Jones. He did a really, really strong leg, which was needed to get them into the position after 3 legs, and I think they did their jobs, but they knew that, as I said, the competition would have needed to go a little bit more their way, and a lot of emotions here in the Danish team.
Tell me, this is, I think, they are so strong as a team, and their coach has said 60% of their team are injured as well, so it's not on paper their first team anyway, and they still come away with the bronze.
Compared to the last year, they had to make 2 changes, and both because of injuries. So that's quite a tough situation, but they managed very well.
The Estonian team coming in now for 11th spot, Eveli Kasaku. Should say Spanish team going into 10th position. Top 10 for them. It's pretty...
let's talk about Team Sweden. I think the big difference compared to Switzerland today were actually the men on the 2nd and 3rd leg. They seemed so strong physically. We saw Emil Svensk, he could just open the gap again and again after doing small mistakes, and then we saw Ole Andersson as well. He could just push away from the others a little bit at the time, and I think that was the key today for them to take the victory. And of course, we saw very strong runs also, especially from Caroline Olsen. She did exactly what was needed because she didn't have to risk anything. She knew that she has a gap. She did that perfectly, and I mean the gap is still 30 seconds, even if maybe Switzerland didn't push all the way in, so let's say 20 seconds, but that's still a big gap, and she did her job perfectly.
Yeah, when you get given that much lead, you just don't want to blow it. You need to keep it safe.
Exactly. I mean, 50 seconds, that's a big lead, and it takes a lot to lose 50 seconds, so she did that very well.
Yeah. Absolutely. We'll soon get the presentation of the flowers for the top 3, and then we'll get the results, of course, confirmed, and medals and prizes given later on. But can we ask a question about selections for the Swiss team because of the men? Because the top sprinters are rested for the rest of the week. I mean, they're not just top sprinters; they're top orienteers.
You can. I'm sure it's the decision of the runner. If we talk about Matthias Kurz, he doesn't want to run the sprint relay because he's running every other distance.
Yeah, and focusing on the long as well.
I mean, you can always have the discussion, when should you select your team? Should it be before the championship? Should it be after the sprint race, as we know, for example, the Norwegian team did? But at the same time, this is a risk as well, because you don't give the runners the chance to prepare for the championships. So of course now it's always easy to say that afterwards. But you can, you can always have a discussion about that. And we saw that Andreas Gewurz did a really good job yesterday. We know that usually it's Martin Hupman in the team as well. But we also know that Florian Howald, he has medals from championships. Fabian Hertner has medals from championships in sprint. So, It's so easy to difficult. Have this discussion afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. And really, there's such a strength in depth on the Swiss team.
Yeah, you can also take the point that they didn't run yesterday and they are not tired from the competition yesterday.
Well, let's go to the flower ceremony. And Maja Alm was able to catch up nearly a minute to take the bronze medal for the Danish team of Amanda Falk-Weber, Tua Lassen, Jakob Edson, and of course on the anchor leg, Maja Alm. Ladies first, of course. And I think there'll be some more celebrations in the Danish camp.
It was the race day. Let's be honest, of the 3 legs, if they wouldn't have Maja Alm, they would be out of the race. Yeah. So that's what they needed, but I think they knew that on beforehand as well, that it would go their way, or it could go their way. But, it was really extreme today.
Yeah, just didn't want to lose too much time. But in second place, the team of Eleanor Ross, Florian Howald, Fabian Hertner and Judith Vida, they can claim their silver medal.
Good luck for next racing.
Thank you.
Switzerland were back, I think, in 4th spot on the changeover from the 3rd to the 4th runners when Judith Vida went out on the last leg. They were 50 seconds behind, managed to catch up 20 seconds. But in the what seems to be at the moment the battle of Switzerland and Sweden, it was Sweden who were able to take the victory today. And I can say Alexanderson, who had the first leg, looking much happier than when we spoke to her earlier. When
you should have seen her face when she was sitting here in the box.
She was not happy about making a mistake, but at that point that could be what has lost you a gold medal or even a medal, that mistake. But it turned out not to be the case, and the strength and depth, especially of the 2 men, Emil Svensk and Jonas Leandersson, running the 2 middle legs, and then a great anchor leg from Carolyn Olsen, who just could do the job and keep cool and maintain that lead, was a credit to the whole team. And Sweden defend their title in these sprint relay. So those are, of course, the top 3. Bronze medalists Denmark, silver medal Switzerland, and gold medalists of Sweden. So maybe a couple of minutes to reflect on the race. Have we seen maybe what we would expect?
Yeah, I think we have seen exactly what we should expect. Maybe the 3rd position is still a little bit of a surprise. Not if we take the earlier races from earlier World Championships, because it's exactly the 3 nations. I don't think that ever another nation took the gold medal in sprint relay than one of those 3. So in that matter, it was exactly what we expect. And also, it's not totally unexpected that the victory would be between Switzerland and Sweden. So, yeah, it was the race to expect.
Well, we'll be back in 2 days' time for the middle distance. We'll move out to Sigulda and the Forest, and a whole different set of challenges will be presented. Today's winners, they are Sweden. We'll see who can claim the medals over the rest of the weekend. But from us, it's bye for now.
Goodbye.
Also on hold at that 25-24 second gap. And then outstanding, unbelievable Maja Alma from Denmark from the 7th place moved.
Alexandersson gets the gold in the sprint relay. Then Maja Alm, after yesterday's gold, gets another bronze in the sprint relay. And now let's cheer also the Team Portugal with smile, and that's the good one.
Jāatzīst, komandas ir tuvāk līderiem. Latvija pagājušā gadā bija 12, bet zaudēja gandrīz 7 minūtes uzvarētājiem. Šogad mums jau uzvarētājiem atpalika mazāk. Daudz mazāk par 6 minūtēm un 17. vietā. Pērn ar 7 minūšu deficītu pietika 12. vietai. Pirmais trīnieks bija 50 sekundžu robežās un pirmais trīnieks šodien arī līdzīgi 47 sekundes, 1. 3. vietu.
And the finalized